How you reached Health Alchemy, the third week of 52 weeks of video blogs. Today we're going to talk about the digestive properties of awareness and how we often get so wrapped up in the stories, in what I call the great storyteller up here. So let's start with a nice deep breath. One of the things I'm learning in my adult life is learning to feel more. And one of the things that tends to happen when we get lost in story is our body says, gee, I can Xerox that in the form of a feeling or an emotion. And then we have an emotional response, like we have a thought. For me, used to be if I spilled something, caused an accident, the kitchen table especially, this voice would go off in my head, you idiot. And I remember saying this to myself for many years, and it got to be really painful. You idiot. So doesn't that feel violent? And so I realized that I needed to start putting another program in there, and that this was somehow taught to me. And what happens though, we get a circular pattern where the thought produces an emotion, and then some part of our mind watches our body. So obviously, if someone's violent towards us, then our body's going to react and recoil. And then the mind reacts to the emotion and generates another thought. Uh-oh, I'm in fear. And then there's another self-judgment, and that generates another emotion. And it happens so quickly that we don't realize that something's noticing all this. Like I used to say to myself, after learning to meditate many years ago, like, oh, what an idiot. I was so not aware of what was going on. But the trick is that I became aware that I wasn't aware. So some part of me was aware during the whole process. And as Paramahansa Yogananda likes to say, we're just God falling asleep, and then waking up, and then falling asleep, and then there wouldn't be a life if we hadn't gone to sleep at the wheel. And then we just learn over and over again to just love the story. I mean, we can choose our story more consciously. We can choose our process more consciously. And my experience over the last 25 years is that the trajectory of awakeness gets more and more and more frequent. So being quote-unquote more aware and conscious maybe for 3 minutes out of an hour, now it feels to me like maybe it's somewhere around 40 to 55 minutes out of an hour. And when I do go unconscious, it's sort of painful to realize. So this being wintertime, the theme of winter is, being more still. And in stillness, we have more opportunity for just that. We have more opportunity to just look. And one of my favorite postures is corpse pose or shavasana. And doing a quick body scan. How do my eyes feel? How does my nose feel? What does that feel like? Without judgment, just what does it feel like to have breath in my nose? What does my mouth feel like? What does it feel like to taste? What does it feel like to hear? What does my chin feel like? And then either we're starting at the top and working down, or starting at the bottom and working up. And just letting awareness really reside. So when there's a pattern that arises now where I'm feeling clingy in my relationship, or I feel hurt or vulnerable, then the process involves of like just sitting in it and letting awareness be there, and noting that something I talk about in my practice a lot is we digest experiences like we digest food, and sometimes we're in process and we get indigestion and we get constipated mentally, spiritually, and emotionally, and it's okay because the digestion process is going on. As I was taught once, the famous Zen saying, everything's perfectly managed in the unborn. And that's an important thing to remember. Everything's perfectly managed in the unborn. You don't have to take my word for it. If you look throughout your life, you'll see that small, still voice that's been in there. It doesn't demand a lot of attention. It doesn't get a lot of airtime often. And I've done it myself thousands of times, where I say to myself, why didn't I listen to that little voice that's never led me wrong? So we're leading a cleanse right now in my practice. It begins on Monday. And one of the things I have found about being clear, being more here, is what I choose to put in my mouth. If I choose sugar, then I know that I'm going to fall asleep on some level because I'm not really present. There's a gap between my body and my mind. So keep that in mind and look forward to the next week's video blog. We'll be talking about moving up the emotional scale, how we can choose to feel a little bit better. We're not going to get from powerlessness to joy, but we can go from powerlessness to a hopeful expectation, or even getting angry or jealous, or finding revenge in our own imagination, because there's more juice in that than there is in depression. Hope you have a wonderful week. Look forward to next week's video blog. Craig Lane signing out.